Hi, this is author-philosopher Ronald E. Springer of EthicsUnderground.com here to continue the reading of Moral Armor. Chapter 8, Part 37, Physical and Emotional Stillness. Please hit like and subscribe before we dive in. As his fire of youth burns out, his zest for creative fraud fades as well. It has brought him nothing but clever excuses and empty triumph, a sustenance he has not earned, a guilt which he has, and instead of a blossoming, the spread of decay. His effort in life has been to not look, to not see, to not acknowledge, and collecting his reward to not live. He realizes that after years of laughing at greatness, of extinguishing any spark of talent, of stomping out any passion for living in preaching human impotence, he has reached it. Lacking the energy for another step forward, he slows to a crawl. His hearing slows, his comprehension slows, and like a warped record, his spirit whirs to an end. Life then becomes a different set of automatic functions. Ironically, he gains his dream world of fixed expectations, but it isn't the enchantment he envisioned. In place of the attractive, loving spouse, he has the safe, indistinguishable one who couldn't find better, grows disturbingly larger, and won't leave. Everything about him says, "I give up." His posture succumbs to his premises, his skeletal structure follows, as does his gut. In his own shameful state of flabby neglect, he deserves nothing more than he gives. He has lost all feeling for others, his shrinking arousal undermined by chronic exhaustion. But for those 2 minutes a month, he hopelessly recalls what it's like to be alive. He has lost all contact with the physical world and couldn't step down a hillside unless it was paved. Instead of his dream career, he often works just enough not to get fired and is paid just enough not to quit. He lives for the same boring actions in constant repetition, with no element of surprise and no projection of activity past his next meal. Cut off from his future, he stares 2 steps ahead, unwilling to look up and face the limitless depth of its obligation and the life he could have still before him. In any brief flicker of discontent, he sees so many elements lacking, so many undisciplined strains to relearn. The overwhelming responsibility to get from agony to elation is just too much. With his weak patterns, he is unable to project his gratification 5 years into the future, so there is no incentive to try. 5 years goes by, and once again he repeats his mantra, "I'm too old, it's too late, they wouldn't give me a chance." His life force, never having seen its proper purpose, is worn out with an ugliness no strict discipline would ever inflict. Having relished the fraud in every false virtue of his code, he has fallen victim to them all, and is now dead to every joy in life. He struggles to get out of bed, day after day, year after year, with only one desire left, for it to end. Aging without grace, he is no longer lost in the pretense of the moment, being lost to begin with. The moment left without him. To spend decades of life on the fence without recording any achievements or stature from one's experience is beyond tragic. With no courage to make positive decisions, he stays at the same level, living hand-to-mouth intellectually as he does financially, and may not appear to have advanced in premise towards life or death, although visible degeneration makes his intention clear. Believing he can make no decisions, take no action, and safely escape responsibility only wastes his gift of life and condemns him to a self-chosen retardation. Remaining in intellectual limbo pushes all of his values into limbo as well. He is stuck. He cannot generate the positive emotions he wants, and wishes to stop the emotions his premises do conjure, but won't alter his actions. Suffering incompetence in the physical and spiritual realms. His answer to both is stillness, to not move, to feel nothing, to walk on eggshells around his own shattered sense of life, and to suffer the insignificance of never having existed. Every lasting incompetence involves facets of the endeavor which a person is unwilling to acquire. He is unwilling to break things down further, unwilling to accept his cognitive or physical action as any less than ideal, and forces indifference to the advantages he could enjoy through its remedy. Indifference to values is the coward's emotional safety net. He counters inadequate action, not with correction, but with inaction, the scared rabbit response. He places himself at the top of every pyramid as the finished product, where there is never anything to learn and no further expectation for growth, nothing to threaten him, and unwittingly earns the resultant penalty, no healthy emotions to feel. He is truly helpless, and in escape from its identification, all that is left is to continue the march towards his true goal. Biologically, stillness is death. Ayn Rand. Indifference to values is the greatest crime of consciousness, to be dead to one's own experience, and is the greatest penalty for acting out of fear. True hell is indifference, in any context necessary to life. Does it matter, then, what style of self-destructive dependency he chooses? Drugs, drink, affairs, robbery, family, they are all used to stem the same thing. Social dependencies make the cognitive process unnecessary, while chemical dependencies make the cognitive process impossible. They are all a replacement for pride, an essential physio-spiritual need. They bide their time with replacement purposes while developing replacement premises, until there is no turning back. Dependencies are the result of low self-esteem, and low self-esteem is by far the best indicator of ill spiritual and psychological health. To the extent that fear and tantrums construct their premises, they are not human, and the only choice left is whether to slow down to slug speed or hightail it to hell. That's all for now. Next up is insanity and suicide. I split these videos up by subject so you'd have a better chance of finding moral armor, and then perhaps go through the whole thing for free. Why? To help create a leader in every life. Sound civilization stair-steps up from sound coherence to sound individual to productive groups of mature individuals. Self-hatred drives fear-driven people in our world to wipe out the individual, so we all need moral armor to protect ourselves and the future of mankind. Click subscribe and leave a thumbs up if you'd like to help wipe out moral confusion fast and make the world a better place.